Welcome to episode 3 of the TribeCast. Again, I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Derek Gowan.
I'm Zaire Ficklin.
And I'm Peyton Lewis.
And today on the podcast, we have a very special guest. Some of you probably don't even need an introduction. You just see him and you know who he is. But we have Mayor Bill Rock, Mayor of Gas City here.
Yeah.
Bill, thanks for joining us today.
I appreciate being a small part of the Tribe podcast and looking forward to your questions, and hopefully I can answer them and get you guys off on the right foot.
Yeah, we got a lot of good questions for you, but we're going to start out basic here. So I was talking to you a little bit before we got in here, but just tell us a little about where you born, where you grew up, and kind of how you got back to Gas City, because I know you moved around a lot. So
Yeah, I was born in Marion, and we lived in Van Buren until the 4th grade, and then we moved to Gas City. My parents had a restaurant over here called the Twin City Drive-In, the Oaks Drive-In, and so closer to work, they moved us here. And then my dad got into the amusement business, and we moved to Phoenix for a hot summer. And then we moved to Daytona Beach for my 7th grade year, and then back here, and I've stayed here since, and really am passionate for Gas City, for Miss Cinewall, the Indians, and your superintendent, I think, is a wonderful lady. So
yeah, she is. And we'll get into the superintendent stuff later, but go ahead, Zaire. What you
Alrighty.
got for
Now,
Mayor?
after that, where did you end up going to college?
went to IUK, just across the river there, Indiana University of Kokomo. And I didn't do that until later on in my years. My parents were not high school graduates, and so their main goal was to see their kids, my oldest sister, myself, and my youngest sister, just get a high school degree. And so later on in life, I went to IUK.
Mm-hmm.
IUK. So, what did you study while being there?
I was studying business and marketing. I was in sales and liked being in sales, and so that was one of the things that I wanted to do well in my life was do sales and marketing.
Oh, wow. So what was your motivation to get all that done and to become, like, even the mayor? Like, what was the motivation behind that? Yeah.
Just being here, my parents got me involved when I was younger, and I truly believe that when you get youth involved when they're younger, they take ownership when they become adults. So you have a passion for the city to create a quality of life, a quality of place, and it's just really fun to watch this city develop when you put effort into it and to make things happen for you guys, for kids down the road. And I've always used this example here. It's like planting an oak tree, knowing that I'll never see the full growth of that oak tree, but knowing that it's going to grow and that either grandkids, great-grandkids, or people in the community will be able to see this and continue with quality of life and be excited as I am and passionate for this city.
No, yeah, for sure. And I've only been here for 6 years at this point. I've just seen so much growth with you as our mayor in the last couple of years. But let's step back a little bit. You said that your parents used to own, Twin City Drive-In?
Yeah, it was Twin City Drive-In. It was where the old bridge went through, down where the new bridge is now. I think Bose was there for a while. I'm not sure what the name of the business. Casey's is down there, but that was a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
And it was the high school, of course, was right across the street where RJB was. So they got a lot of high school kids that patronized it. Then the Oaks Drive-In is where the new Amoco station is, and that used to be a drive-in right there, or a eatery that my parents owned as well. And then they actually built the B&B restaurant, what was called at that time when we built it, the Hobnob restaurant, which was one in Fairmount and one in Gas City.
Cool.
And then when they sold that restaurant, they went down and built, not the business, but built the building for Jackie's Restaurant. It was called Party on the Rocks, and it was going to be a pastry cake decorating. And then Jackie met them and decided she wanted to put a restaurant there. They sold that. So my parents had a lot of fingers in a lot of developments here that they just did because they were passionate for the city. And I truly believe that's what made my family passionate for this city and the school system as well.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna ask. So, with your parents owning all that stuff, what could you learn from your parents, or what did you learn as they were business owners in a small community? And then, what do you take from what you learned back then to? You've really been developing a lot of new businesses in this area recently. So, what have you take from what your parents did and transitioning into now?
Well, as I'd mentioned, neither one of them had a high school education, so they had drive. And so that went into me was the drive. I can remember when I was a senior in high school, and we used to just drive up and down Main Street. That was kind of our entertainment in the evenings. And we were closing at 10 o'clock that night, and I had the grill looking so good, just like a mirror. And somebody pulled up at 2 minutes till 10. I still remember it like it was yesterday, and ordered a double cheeseburger. And I'm getting ready to tell them, nope, we can't fix that. We're closing in 2 minutes. Well, my dad was there, fire up the grill, cook it. Well, I got to leave about 10:35 that night, but I'm missing like 35 minutes of driving up and down Main Street here in Gas City. But that taught me a lesson later on in life that as we own our food concessions now, we're there until the last customer leaves. We're our servants, and that's what we've done in the concession business. That's what we've done when we created Outdoor USA, and that's what we've instilled as a mayor of Gas City. I am your servant. I want to do what I can for you to create a quality of life, a quality of place for future generations.
Okay. That's nice. And so with like growing up here and learning that from your parents, as well as bouncing around from other big cities like you mentioned, Daytona, what would you say just being here are the benefits and the things you gain just from being from Gas City?
People. The volunteerism here is unbelievable. If there's somebody that needs help and you reach out and ask for it, and I'll use a couple examples we did down at the old Turner Park. We were putting in a splash pad and an outdoor fitness area because Grant County ranks 89th out of 92 counties in poor fitness. Oh, wow. So we applied for a crowdfunding grant and had people, if we got so much, it was matched. And so people, we needed 50,000. I think we got 125,000 donated, which was matched. Wow. But then we still had to knock down the old fireworks factory, and I had two men come into me, Sam Thompson and Chuck Bowling. And they came up to me and said, hey, what would you pay us to knock down those buildings? I'd already had a bid for $666,000. Wow. So jokingly, I said, I'll give you $1. And Sam Thompson put his hand on his forehead, and he says, why so high? He goes, we want to do this for you, for the city. And that's what makes Gas City special, is you have those types of people that will step up when you need the help. And that's what gives us drive to continue to make quality of life, quality of place. And you'll hear that a lot because we truly believe in those two assets for our city.
Yeah. And I've just seen within the past couple of years, like, it's been growing a lot, and it's been growing so fast is what just has amazed me. Like my whole life, like just seeing like small changes in Gas City, I thought like that was the most we could do. And then just within the past couple years, like Main Street has just lit up with business all over again. And it's, you know, it's starting to feel like when I was a kid, we used to walk around, like we used to ride our bikes, and we used to just see people on the sidewalks all day. And I'm starting to see stuff like that again.
Yeah, and I think that is infectious. I think once you get one going, you'll see the others that want to be a part of. And we've done so many good things with and I'll mention the splash pad, the Gilmans, the new Dairy Queen, the hospitals, Fort Wayne Orthopedics, the outdoor fitness area, the music center that's getting ready to take place, and even people around the state and community. And I just left the ex-mayor of Warsaw when I was in Indianapolis 2 days ago, and they were talking about Gas City, and they were talking about the fact that a small city can do what big cities are doing. So he visited with me today to look at some of the things you just mentioned, and was excited. He goes, this is exciting me looking at this. And knowing how you guys, your administration, worked hard to make this a better place for the people. He goes, you have a base here now that will be hard for the next mayor not to continue on.
Yeah.
The seed is planted,
Mhm.
and that's what we're looking forward to, that whoever
goes-
takes my place.
Yeah, that goes back to like your oak tree thing earlier. Like you're planting stuff like you're not even gonna see, but like it's there. It's gonna keep growing.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
And that's exciting, and that's exciting to see it grow, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
As a mayor, I mean, even though there's some people that wake up with I don't want to say a bad attitude, but it's like, how can you wake up in such a negative way with seeing the positives that's happening, and why don't you jump in and be a part of it? Take that negative energy, put it into a
Yeah.
positive energy, and help us continue to grow with what you want to see. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to do what people here want, and of course we have a vision, but we always listen to what
Yeah.
other people's visions are.
I mean, we even see the growth here in the school system. Like, our schools are at capacity right now, so we're
Mhm.
I mean, you probably know about the building plan that we've been trying to get through, and what we're doing in Gas City, people from other surrounding towns and cities want to be a part of it, so they're sending their kids to our school, all that kind of stuff. But I told the kids I was going to try to get a breaking news here from you, Mayor. So you can answer either one of two questions. Everybody wants to know, who's the first concert going in at the music hall? Or do we have any new businesses coming that you can talk about? Any breaking news that you can drop here on the TribeCast?
Or both if you really want.
Or
to.
both if you want to.
I can answer both those questions. We should be hearing a bid back that we put in for a national country star singer that has Grant County roots. And whether we get her or not, we do have a bid in. We should hear something today. Be Carly Pierce. But our concerts probably will start taking place about August.
Okay.
It'll be like volunteer concerts. Ticket prices of about $5 per seat, so we can get our ticket people trained, our concession people trained, make sure the acoustics, the lighting, everything is up to par before we bring in a major star like Carly. We're hoping that happens. We don't know if it'll happen. If not, we'll move on to whatever our next one is. But that's our main. New businesses, yes. Matter of fact, by middle May, 1st of June, you'll start seeing out east of town, you'll see like a 5-acre general store. I'm going to compare it to like a Cracker Barrel. You'll see them down south, a lot of the big red barns where you go in. There's a place to eat. There's also a place to shop. It's not going to be like the Cracker Barrel, but I just use that as an example. We have a tire store that's taken up 2.3 acres. Then in the back, 6 acres. They will be working on any semis that break down on I-69.
Cool.
And then we have a 9-acre Astrum alcohol drug rehab facility, 40 beds.
Wow.
So it will be places where people can go in and rehab and get healed, and then go out and make a difference in the community.
Is that the one
somewhere.
going in the new commercial park that we have out there by Gilmans?
Yes.
Okay.
All these are going in there, and then 40 condos. And then we also have 40 homes that are being built out in Cobblestone and Lakeshore.
Oh, wow.
I just left the mayor. We should be signing something. Matter of fact, today I did sign it, where we're purchasing 189 acres behind you guys, behind the high school here.
Part of the
IMI.
okay.
It has a 12-acre lake back there. It's got a spring fed. It's blue-green year-round.
Wow.
And we should be able to put about 240 homes there.
That's
We
really cool.
we partner with Upland and Marion and Gas City to do a housing study, and it's showing that Gas City and Grant County could put in another 300 homes per year for the next 5 years. So you're going to see some major growth,
Yeah.
and that's why the school needs to add on or build.
Oh yeah, for sure. And me and my wife talk about it all the time. We want to move to Gas City so bad. There just isn't as much available down here as there is up in Marion right now. So that's why we live in Marion. But no, that's really cool to hear all this growth coming. So you hear it here first, TribeCast, all your breaking news.
So we've talked about like a lot of these things that like you're doing for the city and like how it's growing. But what would you say is your like greatest accomplishment, the thing that you're most proud of? And it doesn't even have to be about like a Gas City. It could be like a personal accomplishment. What's your thing?
Well, definitely one of them, and there's several that I don't put any really above, but probably one of them was when I was told years ago, and that's what I like about this Tribe podcast, I'm going to do an outdoor fishing and hunting program, and I'm going to take it national. And somebody said, you can't do that from Gas City, a little small town. Well, guess what? We did it because we put in effort, we put in energy. We continued to listen to people that would give us positive, critical information, what we needed to do to improve, to be able to take it. And where we aired was at Temecula, California, so we'd send a beta cam tape out there. After we got different people say, here's what you need to do, here's the camera equipment you need, here's what you need. So that was probably a pretty big accomplishment to take a outdoor fishing, hunting, extreme sport television program to the Outdoor Channel, which hit 40 million homes.
Wow.
So that was a good accomplishment. Then we sold that. But as a mayor, I'm proud of every one of them we done. The music center, definitely, the hospitals. But probably the one I'm most proud of, and it's not even that big of a deal, is the very first one that we accomplished, setting 2 weeks in the mayor's office, Gilmans Do It Center.
I was gonna guess that.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember when you first took office, that was like right away.
Yeah, it was within 2 weeks, and it happened so quickly that the last administration right at first was getting credit, but Charlie wanted to straighten that out real quick. We made a phone call to Batesville, Indiana for the Do It Center, and Charlie was in Colorado skiing, and so I talked him into giving me his cell number. So I make a phone call, and Charlie answers the phone, and I said, hello, I'm Mayor Bill Rock from Gas City. And I won't use Charlie's words, but he goes, who in the heck is Bill Rock and where in the heck is Gas City? I said, well, Charlie, it's going to be your next lumberyard hardware home. He goes, do you realize I'm skiing right now? I said, well, Charlie, you can't be skiing. You answered your cell phone. I said, so grab a bench, sit down, get you a drink, give me 3 minutes, and then we'll go from there.
Wow.
And he goes, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to put a lumberyard hardware store there, but I got to meet you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so that was one of the biggest, and he's the only business I have hanging in my office because it was the first one. So those
That's
first
cool.
ones are always special.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you just talked about how you called Charlie. When people get new businesses in here, is it mostly you reaching out to people, or do people reach out to you? Or how would, if we have a listener that wants to start a business and something, also for personal, when we retire, we want to open a bakery and pastry shop here. Because my wife's a baker, but
She's a really
how do
good
you go
baker. Shout out,
about?
Miss Gowan.
You said what?
She's a really good baker. Shout
Yeah,
out,
she's
Miss Gowan.
phenomenal.
Well, then I got to try some of that.
Oh yeah, I'll
Pistachio
get you some.
cupcakes out of this
Her
one.
thing is pistachio cupcakes. They're the best cupcake you'll ever eat.
Yeah, they both sound good to me.
But yeah, like how does one go about even starting something like that?
Well, we actually started reaching out to all the businesses. We would send out letters. People don't realize how many phone calls, how many letters, the little 3-minute tape that I just spoke about earlier, what we send out, and how many no's that we hear before we hear yeses. I think everybody thinks that you just make a phone call and they open their arms and say, I'm coming. Now, it's starting to get a little easier as they've seen the accomplishments of the music center, the hospitals, the lumberyard. Some people are starting to call me down to talk. But right before I went on spring break vacation, we'd sent out 6 letters to different steakhouses and Italian restaurants.
Oh, please.
And as I was getting ready to get on the airplane, I had Papa Vino's call me and said they'd received my letter and they wanted to talk to me. And I said, well, I'll call you when I get into Orlando. I'm getting ready to hop on a plane. And he goes, nope, take your vacation. Call me when you get back. So I did. So we're in the talks with them. But again, a lot of people don't realize that, like the steakhouses I talk to, and I'll say Outback, Longhorn, Texas Roadhouse, you name them, they usually do a 3 to 5 year logistics study to make sure that they're going to be successful in that city. So some of them I think have already been doing that I'm not even aware of, and then some of them told me they were going to speed it up because they like what we're doing. And so we're looking for that, but it's not because we're not trying.
No,
It's just a fact that we hear more no's than we do yeses, but we move on to the next one with just as much enthusiasm for the next one as we did when we heard the no. That's the only way you can get it done.
Have you thought about a standalone Chick-fil-A?
We have talked to ChickfilA.
I know
absolutely.
Chick-fil-A has a lot of different like regulations in what they do, but like
And that's the whole problem. Chick-fil-A is a franchise, and then the ones we're talking to are chains. And the difference between a franchise and a chain is a franchise, you have to get somebody that will operate them.
Put it up, put up the money.
Yeah, and a chain is somebody that will come in, build it, get the employees. We've talked to Chick-fil-A 4 different occasions. The last one we came really close because I put down my concession experience, my restaurant experience, and the fact that I was mayor. Well, we got to the point where they said, well, if you get rid of your concessions and you resign as mayor, we'll talk further. So we passed that one up, and what we're going to do now is put out there, do we have somebody with some type of background in food, and then we'll reopen the Chick-fil-A thing. But yes, we have been talking to them. We're getting close. They like what we're doing here in our city. However, they are not going to put just anybody in there.
Oh, no. They're very strict with their rules and regulations.
So that means it's up to you guys. If we want a Chick-fil-A, someone's got to
If
step
you want a
up.
Chick-fil-A, you better step up.
Somebody get a hold of me. We'd
Yes.
love to have one. It would go good. We've got land out east that Chick-fil-A would be perfect. But find somebody that has restaurant experience or knowledge, and we'll reopen that Chick-fil-A hunt again.
Hey,
The
just give me a couple years. I'll finish college.
Yeah.
I'm opening it up.
The last business question, at least that I'm going to ask, is we had our very first podcast we did, we had Rob Outhouse on. And he was talking about how he would love to see some sort of like manufacturing factory, some type of stuff here for those people that college isn't necessarily the next step. Is there anything like that you've talked about or anything in the works like that maybe?
Yeah, and I got to give Miss Cinewell High School and more kudos too, because you guys are doing a lot of trade school where kids are leaving the school with an associate's degree in trades. But definitely, I've talked to Mayor Morel, I've talked to Mayor Goins over in Jonesboro about putting a trade school. We've talked to different ones because we need pipe fitters, we need plumbers. We need welders, we need electricians. And matter of fact, I just when you talked to me today, I was talking to Rachel about reaching out to in the Indiana Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Mike Young, and I'm sure he would come here and talk to people getting in trades. And one of the examples that Mike has given me before is you make about $30,000 a year to go to school, and you're learning that trade as you go, where in the other case you're paying $30,000 a year to get that degree. And it doesn't mean that you're going to walk into that degree of college. I mean, we've all taken college or seen kids that have taken college and they don't even get into the field that they actually studied for. So yes, trade schools is big on our radar. I'd love to. We've got land. It's just getting them to do it. East be north here on Garthwaite Road, not too far down the road, that we could put a nice trade school. It'd be right here in Gas City. But Marion needs it. Jonesboro needs it. Everybody needs it. And probably the biggest hiccup there is the fact it's in Gas City.
Yeah.
But we're the one growing, and we have the land, and we all need the skilled trades.
Yep.
And for a young person who might end up, who's going to Miss Cinewell right now, who could see the possibility of like the future trade school, just a young person in Gas City, what advice would you give them for the future? Like what things to take advantage of with this gaining momentum of the city?
Definitely, as I mentioned earlier, too, the volunteerism. I truly believe when kids get involved, just like down at our park, or things you see that you might want to improve the city to make you have quality of life later. I truly believe that when kids get involved young, they take ownership when they become adults. So I would think anything that you see, whether it's Ole Miss Youth Sports or something with the school that's going to be doing something in that, whether it's a library or the park, if you look down there and people say, oh my gosh, there's trash laying over there, I'm going to call the city to get that picked up. You know, it doesn't hurt to take a trash bag, pick it up, and then call the city and say, hey, there was a problem, a trash can blew over. We'll get down there and get it fixed. But sometimes instead of doing something, they call and want somebody else to do it. And I think the whole key is doing it, getting involved, and then you want to be involved, and you take more pride in that. So if you see somebody throwing a piece of trash out down at the park and you already had a trash bag and picked it up, you're going to say something. And that's what it takes. It takes us all working together and moving in the same direction to make things positive for your future and for the future of Gas City.
Now, how long before you decided to start your campaign officially did you want to be mayor? Like, when did that start while you were running your businesses and just doing other things in life? What made you decide, well, when did you decide, hey, like, this is the thing I want to do, I want to lead this town?
Well, it was later on in my life because I have kids here that went to Miss Cinewell. I got grandkids that go to Miss Cinewell, and I'm looking around. There's nothing for them to do, nothing for anybody to do. And I would mention it to some of the administration, and I'd say, hey, I'm even willing to work at it to get it done. But when they just ignored the suggestion, I decided, you know what? There's only one way to make a difference. Try it. If I get beat, then it wasn't meant to be. If I win, then we've got some ideas to do. And one of the things I told people when I went around knocking on the doors and talking to them, when they say, well, what can you promise us? I said, I can only promise you two things: energy and effort. And if it don't work out in 4 years, I won't run again. Well, the energy and effort has worked out. So unfortunately, I did run again for the ones that didn't want to vote me in. And so you got 4 more years of me, and I am going to go one more term just because I get asked that a lot. Are you going to run again? Yes, I am. I don't like a politician that says, well, I'm thinking about it, or no, I am going to run again. So you got 4 years to put up with me, and possibly if I win again, another 4 years. So
because you just got reelected in November, right?
I did.
So we have until potentially 2031, 2032, something like that.
We're well, no, this is 24, so 2028. But if I win again,
if you win again, potentially, one more term after this one. There's some good things that are happening now, and then of course we want to continue to see it grow, and then just kind of keep planting more seeds for the 2032 when somebody like you or you run for mayor. The seeds are there. The seeds are there, and basically you just as we did with Beanerland, him having water and sewer clear out to the interstate. Sure made it for the last mayor, and it makes it easy for me when I say, we do have water, sewer, electric out there that you can basically build it and you're open. And internet going out there too.
Yep.
Got the new surf internet just going in, so that's exciting as well.
And I heard that, and it's funny you say that, Derek, is because I heard a lot when I was in there. We need somebody to compete.
We need somebody to go against Spectrum.
And
it's crazy.
And then when we got it, hey, they're tearing up my yard. And I said, well, they got to get them out there. They'll fix it. But that's a funny story, too. I had one person call me and say, hey, I want to make a complaint. They're tearing up my yard. I said, well, I'll call the VP of Serve. They'll fix it. They'll make sure. So the next day I call him back, and I said, hey, I talked to the VP, and he said they'll get out and fix it. He goes, Bill, he goes, I want to pull my complaint. He goes, I walked out there after they were done. I couldn't even tell he'd been there. So, just give it time, a little patience.
I dropped my daughter off down south of the park for daycare, and we see all the lines and stuff on the roads getting ready to dig them up and stuff. So that's exciting, too. I'm paying $93 a month for internet right now. I need somebody to compete against Spectrum. It's crazy.
And their pricing, not only their pricing, but the ones, and I just told Sandy yesterday we need to call Surf and get on it. But the ones that have it right now says it's remarkable how much quicker it is, how more stable it is, and so and the cost is much less.
All right, so I got 2 more quick questions that should be really quick, and then we got some rapid fire questions we're going to throw at you, okay? So real quick, give me 1 or 2 words of how you felt and what it's like to run against somebody in an election. How is that process?
Challenging. Did you want a 1 word there or 2 words?
That's fine. Challenging works.
Yeah.
So did you know you were going to win, or were you a little worried?
The first election, I was a little concerned. I knew I had to get out. The second election, I wasn't as concerned, but you still get out and work just
Yeah.
for the fact that we had done quite a few good things in 4 years and that nobody really knew my opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you say, have you ever heard of him? No, that made me feel better. So,
No, yeah, I didn't know who he was. I thought you were running unopposed at first, so.
and that was one of the challenges I probably had there, Derek, was the fact that a lot of people didn't realize I had an opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they found out that I did, then they came out and supported. We got 87% of the vote. And so I was a little disappointed in the 13% that went the other way.
You always have those people that don't vote, though.
Oh, yeah.
Last quick question here. Mayor Morel from Marion. I actually know him pretty well. I went to college with him. Have you guys, I know you said you've already talked a little bit, but he's a really good guy, at least from what I know. So what has been your experiences with him? He's a brand new mayor as of November as well, first time ever. So
High energy. I think he's got some challenges ahead of him in the city. I think he can do it. Right now, as I just left Mayor Joe Thalmer from Warsaw, he's definitely very intelligent. He is a very likable guy. Right now he's drinking from a fire hydrant. It's just coming in. My advice would be for him to take it one step at a time, because everybody can have 100 things for you to do. Look at what's the most important thing that would help that city. Do that one first and then continue on with what your list is. And because in about 3 months, and I really think, I like Ron too, I think he's going to do a good job for Marion. They needed this high energy. But in about 3 months, I think the citizens over there are going to, his honeymoon will be over. And so I'm hoping that he will focus on something to get it done in the next 3 months, so that will ease a little bit of the critics. It won't ease them all. That don't happen. But it will ease some of them. But no, him and I talk. Anytime he wants any information or reaches out to me, I want to help him be successful, because it will help our city be successful. And I'm looking at Gas City first, naturally, and then Grant County second. And anything I can do to help Mayor Morel out, I sure will. Or Mayor Goins from Jonesboro.
all right, we got some rapid fire questions for you. We like to finish this way. So just first thing that pops into your head, go ahead. And I'll start with our typical one that we always do. What's your favorite breakfast food item?
Eggs.
Eggs.
Okay.
That's a good one.
What's your favorite book you've ever read?
Season on the Brink.
Apple juice or orange juice?
Orange.
What's your favorite? Oh man, I don't even know. I was gonna say, are the Poorhouse and Rock's concessions tenderloins the same ones?
They're the same ones, except for they cut Cuban bread their own, and we cut and Cuban bread our own.
Okay.
But they're done the same. Yes.
And Brandon still owns.
Brandon owns
Poorhouse,
a Poorhouse, and that's another one that a lot of people said that I bought the Poorhouse, but no, Brandon put up his own money. He bought the Poorhouse. He bought Folky's. Brandon's doing really well in the business habit. Yeah.
So would you choose tenderloin over any other food right now?
I like tenderloins, even though I was raised on them, but tenderloins are mine.
What's your favorite superhero?
Ooh.
Superman.
Hey,
Yeah, there
that's
you
the
go.
one.
What's your favorite vehicle that you've ever driven or owned?
I like my Avalanche.
Those are nice cars too. If they're nice, you can get a lot of trade-in value for them too,
Yep.
because they're still wanted. But I think that'll be it for us today, Mayor Rock. We greatly appreciate you jumping on and taking the time out of your
thanks so
busy
much.
schedule to help out a couple students and a teacher here. But yeah, that'll be episode 3 with Mayor Rock. Thank you again. And we'll be back next week with I don't know who. I forgot who's on the schedule. So
All right.
Well,
we'll
we'll
catch you guys
finish
next time.
I want to thank you guys, Derek, and for getting you guys involved and how you guys got involved. And I wish you guys nothing but success as you move into the future. And TV is big. If you guys stay in the media, you'll do well.
Thank you so much.
Vote Mayor Rock.
Yeah, we appreciate it.